Hello, and welcome to the Over Manga Cast. This is Jay, and on this episode, we are reading My Wife Has No Emotion, chapters 1 to 14. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always, here at the top of the show, we talk about what our familiarity with the franchise that we read this week is. Was a complete unknown to me. The title seemed interesting when we were combing through anime that were coming out recently, so I thought, sure, why not? And put in my vote for this being on the show. Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I knew very little about this. I think the only experience I had with it was seeing it pop up on the Seven Seas acquiring list one time and going like, man, that looks not degenerate. Good job, Seven Seas. And lo and behold, was I surprised.
Good job.
They're the ones who did Dinosaur Sanctuary, right?
Yeah, that's also weird. That Seven Seas does a lot of degenerate stuff and then some other just not super
because that's the only thing of seven. I guess I might as well go in now. Dinosaur Sanctuary is the only thing of Seven Seas that I've read, so I didn't know about this.
And how about you, Jay?
This is going to be a first read for me. It just looked cute, and so I signed off on reading this next.
All right, and we open up with our main character returning home. He is your average overworked businessman, one Takuma Kosugi. He comes back, announces that he's home, saying that he's been living alone for 3 years. So it's like, who's he announcing he's home to? Why, his domestic robot, of course.
That just exists.
Well, obviously he lives in a single person apartment, so he can't afford a good domestic robot. So he had to buy a used domestic robot.
That's a choice, because immediately when that was revealed, I have
a second-hand cooking feature robot named Mina. She's part of the Mina series, which ranges through various specialized specialties.
Indeed.
Great sentence there. As well as
it is a robot that does cooking and laundry. It's okay. You can it does traditional wifely duties, is a completely reasonable statement to say.
Yes, and this man is so destitute that he got the bare bones cooking one secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
And he returns home from a long day of work, cracks a beer, and he's like, man, I sure am lonely being all by myself. I guess the robot's kind of cute. Maybe I should flirt with her. Hey, Mina-chan, will you be my wife? Sure.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean it like that. It's just gonna keep drinking.
Really, he has himself to blame for all of this.
He does. She gives him an omu rice with love and his name written on it in ketchup. And he's like, oh, wait, crap.
You're in too deep, man.
Yeah, I do like how this manga lasts reasonably for your average reader. 4 pages, conceivably, this entire first chapter, before you find out that the title is just a flat-out lie. Yeah. My wife has no emotions is not accurate. It's so blatantly obvious she has emotions, even in the beginning. Like, it's the thing you see in like a bad sci-fi where they define emotions on like a preschool level. It's like, well, she doesn't say she's happy or sad. I'm like, but she's clearly feeling more nuanced emotions that are harder to put in words. Oh, those don't count? Cool, whatever.
And she also like has preferences. She just is, because she's, got her programming she needs to follow. She's very literally minded and will it's
very Isaac Asimov robot where for some reason science has decided it is more efficient to create fully thinking, feeling like knowledgeable sentient beings and then hamper their minds with arbitrary rules that limit their abilities. And I'm like, that's so much more horrifying.
Yep. But as all humans do, he is wont to anthropomorphize, and it's way easier when she actually looks like a people. So he insists on helping with the cooking and various housework. She's like, yeah, but you suck at it. You're getting eggshells in the batter. What are you doing? Stop, let me do it. You're inefficient.
That's
Yeah,
also
one of
that's another weird thing where he's like, no, I'm definitely gonna help, and it's like in the middle, I'm making a rolled omelet. You really don't need to. You're doing it wrong. You're missing the 2 tiny slivers of 55mm eggshell in the yolk, and I'm like, hold on, is the robot programmed to purposely make mistakes to make her cooking more human? I'm so confused.
I think she was pointing out that got in there, and it shouldn't have been. I'm not sure.
It's not clear.
Yeah, the big thing is that she doesn't really have facial expressions, but one of the first like cues of, oh no, she's not like a real world AI. She's actually an intelligent being. Is they have a close up of specifically her eyes.
Yeah, she doesn't have facial expressions, except she does have eyelids. And those go a long way towards, giving her some amount of expressiveness. Notably, even her mouth does not move. It's just It's just kind of drawn on in a little.
Her face is like a molded steel faceplate, essentially.
Yes.
She still does happen to have a very, very obvious tell, which is honestly kind of adorable.
The signature look of superiority. where she tilts her head back when she does something better than someone or something else because she gets jealous of a microwave at one point. We'll get to
it. Particularly jealous of appliances and electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is the best. She's
yeah,
the
because
best
his wife has no emotions except for all of these emotions.
Uh-huh.
You're jealous. No, I'm just more efficient. So.
Wait, can the robot even feel jealousy?
Apparently.
Takuma waffles a bit on how much he anthropomorphizes her from time to time because he'll get really wrapped up in doing things that he thinks would be important for like a human like partner. Like, what are your likes and dislikes? Am I doing anything that makes you uncomfortable? Stuff like that. And then he'll just be like, she's a rice cooker with slightly more IQ. I can't be too wrapped up in the fact that she's being weird about the microwave.
But she is being weird about the microwave.
It's very weird about the microwave.
We're getting ahead of ourselves there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have to get to the part where she stares at him in his sleep.
Yes, as you do.
Because she goes to sleep by like sitting down and charging through the night, except she's clearly taking breaks from that to just stare directly at him, and he's like, I really don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Except maybe I do like it.
Our man Takuma is not a man who has watched Ex Machina. That would have solved his problem.
Definitely not.
Oh yeah, the robot loves me. I should give it its freedom.
We know how that turned out.
If not, watch Ex Machina. It's much better than this manga.
Ex Machina is really good. This manga waffles between cute rom-com shenanigans and then a sort of mild existential horror.
And then it also will just randomly go really horny out of nowhere. Like
really horny.
Well, there's one particular character who's the source of most, though not all of that.
Mm-hmm. But it's like the manga, like just the manga's like goal is kind of weird because it is just cute rom-com. I guess the only hint of it you get in the first chapter is when he's like having his flashback of like, man, I'm kind of a loser. I've only had one girlfriend in my entire life. But man, did she have a rockin' pair of tits. My God, those sweater mittens could go for days.
Takuma, that was back in middle school. You really peaked then, huh? Shut up.
Look, he did. He really did.
Ever since then, I didn't
He's
really
very aware of that.
Ever since then, I considered women and actual relations with thinking and feeling people to be too complicated, so I just kind of stopped. But now, cute robot.
My headcanon is that if you look at his girlfriend in middle school, she looks disturbingly a lot like how his sister does. Character we'll find out later, looks as an adult. So I'm wondering if that's just a realization. She's like, well, I'm just not going to interact with that anymore.
I hope not, but I can't prove otherwise, so,
But yeah, Takuma gets drunk, insists on doing part of the chores because he doesn't want to feel like a deadbeat, and then has her get in the futon with him to cuddle. And he's like, damn, girl sleeping next to me in bed. My dick is so hard right now.
I'm going to actually, multiple panels are going to be about how I'm so fucking horny. Excuse me, master, what does horny mean? It's nothing. Looking up online. Oh my
Too
god.
late.
Oh
I'm gonna
my
Google
god.
it.
Oh my god. There's so much porn. Oh my god.
Are you experiencing sexual arousal? Yeah, stop this line of inquiry.
If your erection lasts for more than 4 hours, please consult a doctor. Why did they allow me to access the internet? Oh god.
He doesn't sleep with the robot
In that way.
And again, this is the weird waffling between like horny and kind of like cute comedy, because he asks her to close her eyes at night because
it's freaking creepy.
Yeah, she just stares constantly, and also her eyes glow, so having that beamed in your face makes it kind of hard to sleep. So she squints the next morning, and he's like, "Are you okay? Is something broken?" "No." "Oh, it's because I told you to close your eyes." "No, you don't need to do that all the time." "Oh, okay."
I actually really like your eyes. They're so full of life. I just can't focus on them as I'm trying to sleep. My god, that's so beautiful. Also, I was really horny last night. Awooga, am I right, boys? And I'm like, what manga, what are you doing?
"Oh, wow, I did some crazy things while drunk."
You mean, like, said that you are my husband? I've already decided I'm your wife. I Googled it.
a lot of most of Takuma's like horny stuff is him basically mentally castigating himself for
Being
that.
horny in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
dude,
like
just embrace
he
your freak at
acknowledges
this
that
point.
it's weird.
Dude, just embrace your freak at this point. As we learn later, apparently it is within the terms and service to consider your robot to be a member of your family.
That
so
was weird. But we're gonna get to that.
That's gonna be the entire freaking second half of this episode is my complaints about those 2 chapters.
I'll be with you. But we need to continue to pretend this is a slightly ecchi rom-com, so we're gonna go on a picnic date.
Woohoo! We love picnic dates.
Yeah, we have to go on a picnic date, and we have to work around the logistics of her 30-minute battery life. But she also has a solar charger, so if we go while it's daylight out, it shouldn't be a problem.
I only have 30 minutes of battery for walking. That seems like a really inefficient amount for something that's expected to do like household chores. It's okay, I have hair that constantly recharges through solar energy, so my battery is actually meaningless. What? What?
Huh.
Why? Why even it's the same chapter. Why even introduce that limitation if it doesn't matter? It's
Also,
Because it sets up the air quotes conflict of the chapter.
yeah, and I was about to say, why would you put the solar panel generators in the hair? That seems so inefficient. I guess because it can grow out long and that gives a lot of surface area, but she's got it tied up in buns. Oh, it's so she can undo the buns and have the hair dramatically fall out and be beautiful or something. Okay, I get it.
Also, thin strands would make terrible solar panels, but let's not. I don't know.
That's not
how,
the only logistical problem in this.
Hey, are your solar panels layered in such a way that really only the top level ever get any sun? Huh, weird. It's almost like you shouldn't do that.
Nah, we're going to focus on the fact that he's holding hands with the robot as they walk down the street and people are looking at him kind of funny.
They don't respect our love. I won't hide you. The relationship with his wife is very LGBT coded. And that is not a subtle metaphor. In fact, it is called out directly, specifically with a scene with his boss. And then the sister just says the quiet part out loud of like, oh man, I've heard that in some other countries they allow robots to marry humans, but not
not here.
But not in Japan, the greatest country in the world. But we'll get to that nonsense. But they're on their cute picnic.
They're on their cute picnic where she packed an entire like mini stove and everything, and they put up their picnic blanket right in front of the
right next to the sign. Yeah,
which is a terrible place to have a picnic. Like, why? Just in general, don't sit next to the sign. Also, he totally could have got away with like, hey, that sign's actually for things beyond its reach. We're on this side, so it's okay for us to start a fire.
Yeah.
Honestly, given the way, given the kind of robot character that Mina is, I'm surprised she didn't try pulling that.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. We can make a cold lunch. I'll make a sandwich. But I really wanted a hot lunch. Actually, wait a minute. Where did you keep all these fragile ingredients like the tomatoes and the egg? Why weren't they crushed in the bag? It's because I put them in my abdomen. What?
Let me just strip in this public park. Oh. As she then like rolls up her shirt to reveal that her stomach cavity is a mini fridge, essentially.
Yeah.
Every guy's dream.
You know, I'm gonna disagree with you.
I was gonna say you're not wrong, but
Jacob, what would you use a mini fridge for?
For
Coke.
For keeping his Coke in there. Yeah.
Right. You're right. And when you're right, you're right. You should just date Frankie from One Piece. That man runs on cola.
But One Piece Part 3 coming up. No, it's not.
We have a weirdly like sexually charged scene of the whole like abdominal mini fridge, but it's also a space heater.
Yeah, because we find out that it can keep it is climate controlled, so it keeps anything at a certain temperature. And he goes, well, couldn't you cook something in there? And she's like, my God, I could. I'm gonna make you a spa egg by keeping it at exactly 70 degrees. I don't know, it's all in Celsius. We use freedom units over here.
I will now poach this egg by putting it in my stomach. Wait, why did you take your hair down? Because that increases the surface area of my solar generator, and I need more power for this.
I like how it started off by saying that she had like solar panels to increase the battery life, and it's like, oh, is she gonna like pop it out of her back or something? And then the hair thing, and it's like, there's so many ways you could have done that, and why did you pick the one that makes the least sense?
Because it allows her to take down her hair, which...
Meanwhile, Matt's in the back with his hand up. Hey, why is whatever is going on in your stomach okay, but the portable stove was too dangerous?
It's contained like an oven? Or just reject authority, embrace whatever this is.
I don't know.
We have to have a comedy bit where she's putting so much power into heating the interior of her mini fridge stomach that it causes her to turn off her sound dampeners, so all of her dialogue is overtaken by
because heating takes more power than cooling. And this is all in service so that she can make sure her egg is nice and warm for him to nom on.
I don't like the way you phrased that.
That's the way the manga phrases it.
He's in the middle of eating the egg, and it starts raining. And because she used all of her power to poach the egg, she's out of juice, and now the clouds have covered the sun.
Which, wouldn't the clouds have covered the sun long before the rain started?
Shut up.
No, that's not how rain works in Japan, Jacob, you idiot. You uncultured swine. Go back to your country of freedom units. He manages to carry her to a nearby gazebo. However, he realizes robots be heavy, and he is basically completely out of breath just dragging her into the gazebo. She has to repeatedly keep saying, hey, I am completely waterproof. I also can't get sick, so just leave me on the ground. It's fine. Holy crap, don't risk yourself. You are doing no good.
Mm-hmm. It would be extremely unlikely for anything bad to happen to me. Even if, like, someone with malicious intent came by, I'm made out of metal. They can't hurt me.
No, you're my wife and I love you. I'm going to sit by your side. No, go home. I'll just rest in the gazebo. That's fine. Just honestly, I'd be better off laying in the ground because then I'd get direct sunlight. But you do you. I'm going to stay here all night. That's not what I said.
Well, no, he promises to go home. She enters sleep mode, and then he enters sleep mode. Yeah. And she wakes up the next morning when the sun comes out, seeing him still there, and she's like, he lied to me. I'm never going to believe anything he says for a chapter and a half.
They just make it a gimmick of how, like, she has to keep questioning his orders, going like, how do I know you're telling the truth? Because you're a liar. He's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like,
I told a white Lycus I love you. I don't understand this.
And this is when I'm like, oh man, this is such a cute romance little thing. It's oh man, what's the next chapter? Oh, they're introducing a little. Oh wait, no. Yep, I missed the part where he goes to work with his pre-packed lunch, because I'll bring that up here. Mm-hmm. The chapters in this are kind of weird. The chapters are basically like 3 mini stories that aren't like a chapter is not a contained plot line generally.
Yeah.
It will typically be segmented, but like not differentiated in any way. And it will just kind of like realize, okay, that story's over. I've got more page count. Here's another story. And this is when he goes to work with his packed lunch from his wife, and his boss is sitting next to him. It's just like, damn, son, you must have got a girlfriend, because that is not the kind of lunch a man packs for himself. It is full of love. And he's just like,
why does that sound so wrong?
And he's just like, oh yeah, are we going to show lunches that our wives made us? It's like, oh, a wife, eh? How interesting. Clearly, whoever made you that bento must have really loved you. You know what? Wives sometimes have things that complement what husbands lack. Like, I've got no fashion sense, but my wife picked out our wedding rings. Check out how cool a wedding ring is. My God, wedding rings are really cool. And I'm like, was this written by a man? Is this how people think men talk to each other? They just talk about how great their wives are? That doesn't seem true at all.
Wow.
Wow.
I also just really like how the coworker is like, so you're a robot, huh? Well, I'm not one to judge.
People get into crazy things nowadays, but love is love. And clearly you've got a partner that loves you.
You probably shouldn't be so hesitant to reveal that she's your wife, even though she's a robot. It's kind of rude for you to do something like that, isn't it? Even if it's to hide your embarrassment, you shouldn't speak ill of others. Yeah, I guess you're right. Thank you, thank you, weirdly progressive old man.
Thank you, old man. I will now go home and have sex with my washing machine.
Basically, yes.
On the way home, he stops to buy a ring. Gives Mina a call to ask her ring size. And at which point we learn that she's got the Cyberpunk 2077 tech, because she's got the virtual phone in her brain.
As you do, yes.
Yeah, and we then get to see this ring, and it's like a gold band with like multiple diamonds in it. And I'm just thinking, this was a fucking spur of the moment purchase for this guy. No wonder he can afford a robot house servant. Like, we find out later that the upgrade kit for her costs 7.5 million yen, which converted is roughly $50,000. So even used, she probably cost like easily 100 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he dropped a lot of money on her. So the idea that he can then just buy easily like a $2,000 ring.
All
which
this
is
context,
weird,
as it's revealed, just makes the whole situation even sadder.
Because he's in a shitty apartment.
He's in a shitty apartment. He constantly like reflects on the fact that he doesn't have like a human girlfriend. So
guys, he lives in the apartment mangaka live in, because that's what everyone lives in. No one has quality of lives better than mangaka.
Yes, of course.
No, because it's so weird, because this guy clearly has to be independently wealthy to afford the lifestyle he has, but also does nothing.
He complains about money problems and
he doesn't spend his money on anything, so maybe he's complaining that he dropped 150 grand on a used robot. Like, I don't know how he bought this appliance from a secondhand store, honestly, because this doesn't seem like the kind of thing they would deal in.
Look, stop thinking about that and focus on the funny comedy bit of him giving her the ring. She puts it on her hand, and then the Food and Drug Administration regulations come in and say, unidentified foreign object detected on finger, remove immediately, contaminant warning.
I love how they explain in one of the 4 coma at the end of the volume about this, because obviously you've got a lot of questions. So does this just go off when anything is on her hands? Or that seems like why is there a vocalized warning message? It seems like the robot would only need to know this. Like, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. And then the 4 coma is just like, yes, there is a database of all food type items. Everything that is not food is identified as a contaminant. Are those sensors everywhere? They are in the Super Mina, but that was really just a huge waste of money. So they only put them on the hands for me.
This doesn't really answer all of the questions, but okay, I guess we're moving on now.
They remembered that it's a weird thing and then didn't answer the questions people would have, but did address it.
Look, it's fine. She just puts the ring on a chain like she's Frodo and wears it around her neck. And
fantasizes about putting it on at night.
while looking at the sparkly lights of the gemstones.
So sweet.
It is very
also
cute.
This wife does not have emotion.
She definitely doesn't have emotions, which is why she's fascinated by sparkly things and likes cuddling with her husband while looking at the sparkly thing.
Yes, they designed this robot to appreciate art. Really just a meaningful, developer's time.
Indeed. And we have my favorite setup for a plot hook ever. At the end of this chapter, when Takuma forgot his phone, he gets a phone call, and she's like, well, I am his wife, so I guess I can answer the phone. And she answers the phone, and it's his little sister calling. And she's like, why, yes, I suppose I am related to him after all. Takuma-sama. Sama? I am his wife. Wife? What? It's like, oh, I guess he does have immediate family he didn't tell about this.
He does have some level of shame, yes.
Also, standard of robot character does not understand the social implications of thing.
She's like, yes, so this is my household as well, so I will answer his phone. Yes, we are married, so she is my sister.
So Akari, the little sister, calls him later, and it's like, why didn't you tell me you were married?
Nope, she specifically avoids that question, because the entire thing is he thinks she's just coming over for a visit.
Yeah. Right.
So there's an entire scene where he's just like,
he doesn't know about the call.
My sister's coming over, so Mina, I'm gonna just hide you in the closet because I'm ashamed of you. Oh, I'm a monster. Come out of the closet, Mina. I'm gonna tell my sister I'm in a relationship with an appliance. Well, I'm sure we can phrase this better.
There's the coding just being on the surface. I see it.
Yep. Well, no, the sister will literally just address it by.
Yeah, it gets more obvious, but yeah, the heavy hand of symbolism.
And this is where Akari is introduced, and she is quite something.
She is a character in this story, yes.
It's almost like they were like, man, we should have a little sister and have her kind of be questioning his relationship with a robot. And I'm like, good, that would be a very good angle to have, considering how you've set up the lore. Someone should have questions about this that you can then refute. And then they're like, but hold on. What if she's just really horny for it?
Oh, no. I don't mean moral or ethical questions. I mean questions because I want the juicy details so I can get off to them later. Ooh, this is so hot.
Yep. She's definitely wants to bring her her next door erotica to life. This is it.
Her interspecies romance fetish.
There's just a page of her orgasming on page.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable.
That is combined with what Sam said, the like narrator saying she has an interspecies romance fetish, which is such a weird thing to phrase. Because
I understand. Fully.
do you? Do you want to say you understand? Because we do get established in the 4 comas that it is any interspecies that she is into.
She likes the taboo of it. That's her thing.
She likes a woman with a bear. She likes 2 birds of different species.
Yep, it's the taboo-ness. It's like, ooh, this is forbidden. Yeah.
I don't know. The more I find out about his sister, the less I think she's a good person.
We do not kink shame on this podcast.
Can't ask why.
Teratophilia
is one thing. This is...
I don't know. She's weirdly possessive of her brother, but then the relationship she is in seems really toxic, and I don't like it. That's just kind of thrown in as a bonus chapter.
Yeah,
why? Well, we'll talk about that in volume 2, but it's weird.
There are so many places in this manga where it's like they set up, oh, this is a potential point of conflict, and then they just say it's fine and move on in a way that only makes me more concerned.
I really don't like how this manga only works by constantly sidestepping moral implications, but then it also tries to have its cake and eat it too. In this chapter, where it starts with Akira going like, okay, so you're married to a robot. So big brother, you're going to get out. The girls are just going to talk. And he's just like, that makes no sense. And then Mina's just like, no, the girls are just going to talk. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm going to go not exist for 2 hours because it doesn't say where I go. And I don't seem to do anything other than go straight back to my apartment. So
he screws off somewhere.
He disappears from the universe for 2 hours.
And Akari is like, okay, Akari, just keep calm. You can't be too weird about it. You can't just go in and
immediately proceeds to be as weird as possible.
You can't just go in and ask if they've boned or anything. Just say something nice and careful and be like, so do you love my brother? Ah, damn it.
I don't know what love is. She gives really worrying answers too, is the thing. Like, I don't know what love is. Oh, well, it's like if someone's really special to you, would you consider my brother as really special to you? He is my master, so yes, I would say that. I am programmed to say that. And I'm like, that's really not a great answer either.
She doesn't know that, you know?
But then she goes, I know she doesn't know that, but like, if I'm a family member investigating my like family, like it's gotten to a relationship.
That's a level of emotional intelligence, though, that she doesn't have.
His sister? His sister's an adult woman. She should have emotional intelligence.
No, Mina.
No, Mina.
But I'm saying his sister should be alarmed by these answers. They're not good answers.
I think she should be alarmed. And I think that's why she asks her follow-up question if it's like, okay, imagine being married to me, and then imagine being married to my brother. Which of these scenarios do you prefer? Being married to Takuma-sama? Oh, and it's like, okay, that should just be, I suppose she just doesn't have the definition of love downloaded or whatever, but she understands the implication. It's still weird. Maybe we need to do more research. We're really measure of a manning this right now.
Sam, you're being really generous to her because she gets disheartened that Mina does not want to be married to her.
Yeah, that was an odd thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Like she wants to be their odd third, and it's weird. I don't understand.
She's just like, oh, this is my chance to have an interspecies relationship because she's down for humans, and then he's just like, oh no, she might just be down for my brother.
Yeah,
it should be this like Isaac Asimov Star Trek, AI ethics and morals moment. Instead, it's which would you prefer, me or my brother? Your brother.
Okay, so how about I set up a trolley problem where you have to decide between some random old guy who wants to be your or your old master, or Takuma, your new master, who would you choose? And you had to like flip a switch, and the trolley would go crush your old master and save Takuma. And she'd be like, my programming stops me from taking actions that would directly cause harm to human beings. And I'm like, good. That's how trolley problems should all be resolved. Like, no one wants to tell a robot they can kill people.
The laws of robotics say that I can do nothing. Actually, the laws of robotics say I must sacrifice myself to try to stop the trolley at all costs and save every life. But
that wasn't an option in this hypothetical scenario. So
because this isn't actually following Asimov's laws of robotics, we should stop operating under that assumption.
It kind of does. It
implies, at least.
I mean, Japan had agreed to those because that was like some kind of global accord, I think, for robotics. So,
sorry, what?
Japan knows.
I'm not sure how much we want to dive into this. Jay, do you think the fictional rules of robotics from Isaac Asimov, the sci-fi author, are some kind of like government accord? Okay.
Yes.
Good, as long as we're on the same page here.
You think this is humorous, but these are discussions that have happened.
Advancements in AI kind of demand we think about this, and sci-fi writers tend to think about this kind of thing a lot. That's why it's speculative fiction. Whatever. We are getting too deep in the weeds for this horny rom-com.
Hey, we're supposed to be here to overanalyze stuff.
Akari continues to try to ease her way into Mina's good graces, and then continues to ask questions that just smack of her fetish. Except Mina does not care because she does not know.
Yeah, what Akira is clearly doing is playing the like, oh, you're going to be marrying my brother. I'm going to like create a casual friendship with you, and then like eventually I can start asking romantic details about your life. Which is kind of weird, but at least is like a reasonable trajectory for a friendship.
Are you kidding? That happens like almost 90% of the time of any type of female-to-female relationship.
That's what I'm saying. She then speed runs it over the course of a 30-minute conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like...
It doesn't seem to care about because Mina doesn't care about a lot.
They continue their conversation. It's like, you can't tell my brother about any of this. Why not? Because conversations between girls are secret. Okay. And she will latch onto this with an ironclad grip for the rest of the manga.
She understands girl code. Good lesson.
Any conversation between two female-coded characters is immediately 100% confidential, and Takuma cannot know under any circumstance.
Yep.
There's also the standard level of Mina does understand what girl talk is, despite the fact that she's not supposed to be able to, because it's sprinkled throughout the early parts, but it's said explicitly later. Mina should not have this level of sentience. Like there's a very heavy implication that Mina is unique among her model number, but they don't go into that far.
They say some weird stuff about something must have happened with her previous owner that caused some corrupted data that is giving her this like weird outlook on life that's causing her to like have emotional intelligence, which is not unheard of for robots because they have other robots that have way too many emotions. So
yeah, except we can't know for certain because due to the privacy policy, all of the data on her previous owner has been encrypted so thoroughly even she can't access it.
Oh, the one thing that does happen with the conversation with in fact, I think most of the owner stuff does come up again here while she's talking with Akira, is she wants Akira to take a memory card and download some stuff so that in case like she ever needs to be factory reset, she has a chunk of her memory with her so that she doesn't forget Takuma, which is very sweet and very indicative that this girl has a ton of emotions. So
yes. So again, the manga title just lying to us on its face, and Akari not able to actually appreciate that at all. It's just like, have you met my brother yet?
Just being weird. Akari is weird.
Looking up synonyms of fucked, don't understand. Urban Dictionary defines fucked as having slept with. I sleep with your brother every single night. We are up face to face. I can feel his breath on my face. It is very hot and heavy. Is that what you wanted to know? Meanwhile, she is crumpled on the floor, spasming.
Oh God, you killed her.
By the way, I have finished backing up all of my precious memories to this SD card. I will now take it out of my breast and now give it back to you. Please keep it safe. And Akari's just like, oh yeah, sure. And she's riding the she's riding the
Go
high of
on,
her-
finish like she does.
She's riding the high of her orgasm so much she's like, I could go 3 years without eating. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I also do like how this is a plot point later on for she doesn't remember where she put that memory card in her bag because she just casually tosses it in there.
Yeah, she is stereotypical big booby McGee younger sister who is pretty airheaded.
Akira is a bad person, and every time she shows up, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
She loves her older brother. She looks out for him, I guess.
Not in a way that's healthy or happy or positive.
She sure loves him.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, hey Mina, do you want to try some perfume? I would like to try this. Oh, wait, I can't touch it. Health and safety regulations. All right, let me just put it on your hair. And
Yeah,
now my
that's
brother
nice.
and now my brother will come home and sniff your hair for 20 minutes.
That's not weird at all.
We also then find out that they've been texting constantly because I guess the mangaka didn't watch Ex Machina, but they sure as hell watched her because it's just like, so I can have multiple conversations with multiple different people. It's more efficient this way. Also, your sister keeps asking weird things. Did you know it's not normal to sniff your wife's hair for 21 minutes? Please stop telling my sister that. That seems like a good idea.
Are you continuing to tell her that? Conversations between girls are secret.
I see.
And then the narrator box is just, Mina from then on muted the notification sound of her text alert. And I'm like, so, okay, so she's just lying.
It's not the same thing.
So the gynoid has learned how to lie. Excellent. We yeah, definitely no emotions here.
Yep. My girl.
Hey, do we want to have a hot bath scene between them?
It's not really that hot.
We want to mention a bath scene, definitely.
We want to spend like 4 pages building up to a hot bath scene, and then a panel of them awkwardly in a way too small bathtub together, and then a gag of her having some water in the abdominal.
Yeah, it's a punchline.
Which really, bathing with someone is exactly like that. It's a lot of lead up to, man, this is actually kind of just awkward. And then
Yeah. It's very much the same energy as Denji and Power.
yep, it's just like, oh yeah, this is just weird.
Yeah.
They
But
continue.
she does have very cute pajamas, like after bath pajamas, because
Yes.
Akira has been just buying her clothes like a doll.
I wonder, they have to be like both somewhat wealthy because he's like, you keep on buying her all these clothes. Like, I have to like, does he offer to pay her back or he's just like, this is really weird?
He does, and she's like, no, I wouldn't dream of you paying me back. This is me bonding with my sister-in-law. You've really taken to this very quickly. Shut up and don't worry about it.
Their money situation is so weird. Like,
I mean, I think they're like either late 20, like they're not like teenagers, like fresh out of college. Like he's like in his early 30s or something. They have money.
Given the amount of candles on his birthday cake. Yeah.
Yeah, he's decently up in like the ranks of his job. Like, okay, so here's the thing. I liked this manga. I think it's cute, but like there's like this consistent issue that I have with it where it's they set up like something is going to be a conflict and then they just squint past it and don't address it, which just kind of leaves the idea lingering without any meaningful resolution. Like it's weird in the way that it does that. And like I don't think it's intended to be weird in that way.
It's very sitcom in that things are problems for the chapter, and then sometimes they have the exact opposite problem the next chapter.
Yeah, actually, it has that sort of like classic, sitcom era.
Like how does Homer Simpson afford that giant house? Oh, he has a really well-paying job, but they have money troubles all the time. That doesn't make sense. It's whatever's funny.
Yeah.
Except this never really does it as a joke. It's always as like the onus for a plot, but then not really. He just seems to complain about money occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it could be the situation that he's just being stingy too. Because I
Probably.
mean,
Honestly, it's probably that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like, yes, I could afford it, but I don't want to spend money like that.
See, but that makes a scene later make him seem so much worse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just like, don't think about a scene too much, or else you'll realize all of the characters involved are terrible people.
Yeah.
Like, when you don't take it from that perspective, when you read it the way that the manga wants it to, it's really cute and it's very enjoyable. But like, if you do what our podcast title says, it gets strange in a way I don't think was intended.
Jacob, I just really don't have a lot of respect for the middle manager that wants to fuck his Lamborghini.
I have nothing.
Hey, do we want to have a shockingly large bit of a chapter where she learns how to control the pressure of her hydraulics to hug him without breaking his spine?
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Yeah, this is very much a sitcom plot.
I want to hug my wife, but she's too strong. Except instead of...
I feel like the conclusion they ultimately come to should have happened a lot quicker, but then we wouldn't have the chapter.
Yeah.
Because basically what ends up happening by the end of it is he just demonstrates the pressure with which to hug. And that's kind of the end of it.
But what happens is she hugs and somehow reflexively hugs incredibly tightly, and then goes, "I've hurt my master. That is against my programming. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I should never do this ever, ever again, no matter how much I want to. And oh boy, do I want to. I don't have emotions."
No, Mina, it's fine. We just need to work on this a little bit here. How about instead you put your hands behind your back and then I'll hug you and we can see what we can do with that. Okay, we will give this a try. And then he hugs her. She gets so into it that she bull rushes him against a wall and bruises his back. Oh no, I have hurt my master again. No, I think we just need to work on your regulation of power level.
Yeah. Who knew hugging could blow his back out?
I don't know she came with that attachment.
We never said that the manga was subtle.
I'm just saying, he goes into work the next day. Be like, what did you get up to last night?
I didn't know his wife was the Crushinator.
We have an odd scene where she enters sleep mode to recharge after mentioning, "Oh yes, I have no receptors for sense on anything except for my hands. They are extremely sensitive." And then he kind of like fondles
Specifically
her
her right hand. No, it's specifically her right hand is the one with the sensors. Because
And
that's the reason he specifically holds her left hand, because he doesn't want to disturb her.
She has sensors on both hands. What that scene is she's going to sleep mode and she's like keeping the right hand on like bare minimum power so that he can wake her up if need be, because she's charging in the afternoon when conceivably he might need her, because she's sleeping with him and not charging.
Yeah. She is intentionally allowing her battery to run out at night so that she can sleep next to him.
Oh yeah, she's letting that battery run out all right.
And she exits her sleep mode and starts feeling the hand that he did touch, like, my extremely hyper powerful sensors detect the traces of skin contact.
Skin contact.
This is exciting to me, but I will not say so.
What did you do to me while I slept? I'm not angry. I was just into it.
Look, we need to figure out this hugging thing. I'm going to dramatically undo my shirt so that you can see that I have no bruises. Come at me.
hug me so hard. And I'm like, I really don't understand how their relationship is only at this level. They're both very horny for each other.
And then she hugs him so hard that he gets a no face and is sweating a bunch. And I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yep.
They don't mention what happened in the bath, and I don't know. I think there's a strong implication.
They make implications of something that might have happened in the bath that's concerning, but
I find it hard to believe he didn't pop a boner and she didn't notice. That's all I'm saying.
The strong implication is he could not control himself in the bath. That's why it was a very short bath.
He said he released too many hormones.
Yeah.
Yes, I hate it when I release those hormones.
Anyway, I'm not getting enough sleep because I'm too horny for my robot wife. I'm gonna make a hot towel and put it over my eyes.
Oh, what are you going to use to make that hot towel? Some kind of home-wrecking of an appliance?
Man, microwaves sure are great. They can be used for more than just cooking, he says to his cooking robot.
I can be used for more than just cooking. I could do many things. I warmed an egg inside myself for you. Do you want another of my eggs warmed for you? Please ingest my eggs. Please ingest my eggs.
I can warm other things inside myself as well.
Mm-hmm. That bitch of a microwave will never make you happy. I am your wife.
And
Damn
so
straight.
she puts a towel in a small bowl of water and then puts it in the abdominal cavity to heat up.
Forgetting that she can't silence herself while heating up. So he just wakes up. It's like he's staying in a motel and you can hear the ice machine just turn on in the middle of the night. Just.
Except I guess it just becomes white noise that soothes him to sleep.
yeah, it's a cute rom-com. The intention is it's a cute rom-com moment because the sound of her, servos or whatever is comforting to him.
Having a girl who will vibrate for me sure is great.
I think the strong implication, he is not able to sleep through it, though. He's just in love with her. Because what happens is the next morning, I have made you a warm towel. So now you can always have the perfect temperature of warm towel for whenever you wake up. That bitch of a microwave can't do it for you. What? Why do you keep saying that?
As she gets this signature head tilt of superiority.
Because she doesn't verbalize it as explicitly as Matt has been saying it. It's expressed by, this is what introduces the head tilt as her tell.
Because he's like, wow, this is so nice and warm, and it's way softer than when it's in the microwave. I can't go back to using the microwave anymore. Indeed.
You like it so much. I will make you a warm towel every single morning. And you see him just go like, oh, yeah, I guess you could do that.
Sure would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm getting like, I don't think he slept through that noise. So he's like, actually, please don't do that.
See it, time for the birthday.
Yeah, this definitely happens.
I was going to give you a surprise because it is your birthday, so I disassembled myself. You gave me a heart attack because it looked like you were dead.
Surprise! I don't understand. Birthdays are for surprises. Oh, yes. Cool. I guess I'm just gonna go to the supermarket and buy a cake then. What do you mean cake? Looking up. Oh no. Birthdays are also about cakes and presents. I don't have a present for you. Go buy raw ingredients so I can make you a cake, and maybe I can think of something else that I could give you as a present.
Also, please help reassemble me because I detached all my limbs and I cannot put myself back together.
Someone did not think out this plan.
That's what makes it so surprising.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So we have birthday cake. I counted the number of candles. He seems to be in his mid-30s.
Which makes it...
Which is what we thought.
Yeah.
It is the age where his sister is just happy that he's found someone and not that he's found an appliance. Mm-hmm. Well, a normal sister. Whatever Akira's doing, I can't apply any logic to.
She's doing quite something else.
I'm surprised that they talk so much about birthdays and Akira didn't mention anything about what you should do for a birthday.
I'm surprised Akira didn't mention birthday sex. It's the sort of thing she doesn't have the self-control to not mention.
I'm surprised that Mina is able to look things up on the internet. She's 100% got a privacy or a safe search filter on.
Yeah.
You can't have her
No.
getting bad ideas that could potentially harm her master.
So she gives him another hot towel after the cake and then a massage as he sleeps.
Mhm.
And lap pillow.
Yep.
Lap pillow.
He's ready for the beach episode.
Yeah, the beach episode happens. Beach episode gets very horny. I was
does.
surprised.
I was not surprised. Beach episodes are inherently horny.
On that note, we have a beach episode coming up, so let's take a quick break because oh my god, we're gonna need it. This manga goes in a direction.
It's getting weirder. So look forward to that.
Also, Kira's in it, and she gets to be a creep. So nothing new there.
Yep.
Plaza up, plaza up. We can't do the audio without Sam. Editing Sam, put it in the audio.
So, as we need to do in any rom-com, I suppose that's what we're just going to stick with now at this point, beach episode, where Akari continues to be the worst by trying to force a deeper, intimate connection between her brother and Mina for her own purposes.
Yeah, she is shipping them, yes, very hard.
I mean, that's not what the weird part of what she's doing is the thing.
Yeah,
No,
it's
the weird part is putting Mina is getting really, really horny on putting Mina in a swimsuit.
I mean, that's fine. Even that's weird, but it's like
That's actually like a trope, though. Like with beach episodes, where it's like, oh, we're gonna have our bikinis. Oh my god. Yeah.
Hold on. Is everyone pretending like that isn't also just a real life thing of like, yes, we get to go on the school swimming trip where everyone is going to like go to the beach and not like and be in bikinis. Everyone will be in bikinis.
Even the guys are gonna be in bikinis. Yes.
Guys love wearing bikinis.
They're cool, maybe.
It shows off our bulges for the ladies.
Yeah.
That is a joke that is older than both of us, Sam. Like dating the audience, we're dating ourselves. They are just two wild and crazy guys.
Anyway, Takuma reveals how nearsighted he is because he sees a woman that vaguely looks like Mina, except with way bigger TNA,
and it's significantly taller.
He doesn't notice any of that. He just notices her hair and her face. And he's like, "You look kind of like Mina." And then she turns around, and she is wearing a swimsuit that is like a diving suit, but it's cut off on the arms and legs, and
it's very much a surf bathing suit, and they do that because she's very busty.
I was about to say, it's a surf bathing suit if that surf bathing suit was made out of spandex, because nothing is being restrained here.
No,
she has some scenes, like panels where she is turning mid-scene, where her breasts do not move with her, and it's like the entire point. It is like coyote time.
When we say skin tight, we mean we can see her navel. Why does the robot have a navel?
For aesthetic purposes, obviously.
Verisimilitude, you're right.
Collecting
Verisimilitude, you're right. Anyway, this much fuller robot says that she is in fact Mina, but not his Mina. She is part of the Mina series. She's one of the Super Minas.
Introducing this character completely torpedoes what I expected was going to be the point of the Super Minas existing. So that's a writing choice that was made.
Because we hear about the Super Minas a few times from Mina-chan, that they are generally they're the high-end super luxury models with all of the features, all of the gizmos and capabilities, One of them even walked across a river along the bed of it, and
it was
swept away by the current or whatever.
It was like the bay or something. Like Tokyo Bay or something. Our Mina seems to really like the idea of wanting to go underwater. That comes up multiple times.
And then we get this Genki mess.
Yeah, so, okay. If you may indulge me for just a moment, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I see where this manga is going with the, like, robot emotions thing. They mentioned that the Super Minas, like, you know, can display emotions and have very human-like personalities, which is supposed to be in contrast of our Mina. And my expectation is what's going to be done ultimately is a Super Mina is going to be introduced as a love rival to our Mina, and the conclusion that will be drawn is that the Super Mina is merely mimicking empathy and the human connection, and our Mina is unique and special because even though she has a robot's mindset and she's not designed to mimic people, she organically developed real human emotions, and that's what sets her apart. That's what makes her our Mina. That doesn't happen.
No, it does not.
That the furthest thing from that happens.
The literal fucking opposite of that happens.
Jacob, I'm going to be very honest. Were we reading the same manga up until this point where you were still entertaining the notion that's what they were going to do?
Really? You've played...
I up until this Mina was introduced, that's what I was expecting.
I lost faith that they were going to interact with this in any real way at this point. Because I was hoping they'd go more into like the nature of does our Mina have real emotions, and that got thrown to the wayside, and I'm like, okay, they're not going to do anything with anything then.
Jake having a bit more faith in the manga than you.
That's pretty standard.
That's in character for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's the standard trajectory.
Jake having more faith and being disappointed, and Matt being less optimistic and being right. Really, just
name a more iconic duo.
Look, on very rare occasions, my hope pays off, okay?
I'm with you there, but Super Mina is a mess, and they try to explain it away later on with the idea that she's still a relatively fresh model. Her learning programming hasn't had time to specialize or gain any sort of like...
That sure is an excuse for making her just a quirky, Genki, clumsy girl.
I sure do love when my $500,000 robot takes 3 years of breaking all my shit to be anywhere meaningful at her job. Great. I love when I have to teach my Lamborghini how to drive.
Because over the course of 3 pages, she goes from squee, oh my god, you have a CL-chan, one of the cooking models. Oh, that's so cute. I've never met another Mina before. Oh, but wait, I can't find my master. I couldn't find him, and I got lost, and now I'm gonna cry.
I'm clumsy and ditzy and got lost instantaneously.
Hold on, Mina, don't cry. I'm going to send a very vague, unhelpful text to my Mina and immediately ditch them to go help you with your problem.
This is the most contrived rom-com sitcom bullshit, because he texts Akari like, hey, something came up, BRB. Akari's standing there with Mina in their swimsuits like, man, my brother's such an asshole. What's he doing wandering away? What's more important than Mina-chan? And then it's like, oh, hey, Super Mina lost her master. I wonder who that sad boy in the corner is.
Excuse me, what are you doing, little robot? Are you my Mina? No, you're much too short and also ugly. Well, you stupid beast of a thing, get away from me. I'm going to do more robot racism. Someone should stop me.
Akari will try to stop you, and Mina will be like, it is okay. My programming does not allow me to feel offended by racism. I will hold you back by pushing on your boobs.
That happened. They don't even address it. Like, that's the weird part.
Nope,
like, I was expecting them to acknowledge it at some point, and they just don't.
Nope. No. He gets reprimanded for the robot racism later, but that also has no payoff
No consequences.
because he's not a robot racist is the thing. He just said that for some reason.
Well, he's a little kid who was
He's a little kid who spends a lot of time on Xbox Live. He learned some bad words.
Anyway, I've got a short-range radio transmitter that will allow me to find your Mina if we link up our signals. So let's just walk up and down the beach, pinging for that.
Excuse me, how shortwave?
Well, it would go from about the start of the beach to the wave breakers, so it's not terribly far. But if we walk up and down, surely we'll find her eventually.
There's only one location on this entire beach at all that it could possibly be out of range of that transmitter. I sure hope that that's not the only place that they are for this entire chapter.
Meanwhile, jump cut to them on the wave breaker. Wow, good idea to come out here to this isolated area. We can see the entire beach from here. Wow, Super Mina, you're really cool in everything you do. Can you tell me more about things? I'm looking at seagulls with my binocular eyes.
Your weak meatbag eyes can't see out to the beach, but my super eyes can. Hey, look, a kitty! I thought we were looking for your master. I'm easily distracted by animals.
To be fair, I am also easily distracted by animals.
You're not a robot!
Well, Super Mina, I'm going to have half of a very meaningful conversation with you this entire time. I'm not ever sure you're actually listening because it's just interrupted with you going like, oh, there he is, my young master. Well, I'm going to immediately jump into the water. And she jumps into the water. And then for some reason, Takuma goes, oh no, Super Mina, I better go after you. Well, gonna leave my phone here on the wave breaker. And then he jumps into the water after her. And then realizes, oh, right, she's a robot and can just walk along the bottom.
She's just walking on the bottom, yeah.
He then swims to shore, presumably leaving his phone on the wave breaker.
For some reason.
Yep.
All the while, Akari is complaining about how awful her brother is for ditching mid-call. No, that's the worst part. They were in conversation.
Right.
like literally, Takuma specifically distracts Mina with a cat so that he can actually call Akari, and then that's when, because later it's backfilled that the young master, I forget his name, he takes in stray cats. So, oh wait, there he is, because I guess we needed to explain that contrivance of all things.
Yes.
Being distracted by the cat was actually a critical plot point because young master also easily distracted by cats. To be fair, it would work on me too.
Yeah, and I love the next, like, one of the first
Rahito, that's his name.
One of the first pages of the next chapter has Super Mina angrily coming, like, stomping out of the water, like there's going to be literally any kind of meaningful conflict at all. That gets instantaneously diffused on the same page. And this, by the way, is where I lost faith in the manga doing anything interesting. At this point, I occasionally went, aw, that's cute, and that's about it.
It gets diffused literally a panel later as she comes out of the water like she's a Terminator, locks eyes with Rahito, and then becomes a big googly-eyed Genki girl again, tackling him to the ground, being like, I found you. I'm gonna grind on your leg now. Please stop.
Yeah, I do want to bring this up here. The manga does subtly imply here, and then much more readily imply later, there's a mutual romantic interest between these two. The young master appears to be like a
child.
A 10 to, not like child, but like a 10 to 11 year, like a preteen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but like young, and she appears to be it's hard
older
to say.
Teens, basically.
I'd say older teen who's also stacked, so that makes her look older, I guess. It's a classic anime problem.
She's an older teen in a manga, basically.
Yeah,
it's also sort of a weird inverse of Takuma and Mina-chan because we haven't mentioned it, but she is short and flat, not unreasonably so, not like I'm getting suspicious about this, but like when the contrast is right there with Rahito and Super Mina,
they didn't have to draw attention to it with that obvious duality of characters, but they did.
I don't I don't think Mina's very child coded, especially because she does all of the
She's
housework.
definitely not.
Personality wise, absolutely not. It's just the aesthetic, and it's like you didn't have to do that, manga.
You didn't need to call attention to the aesthetic.
They could have at the very least made Rahio is his name.
Something like that.
It doesn't matter.
They could have made him they could have made him a little bit older, because the fact that he comes off as young as he is strange.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's also especially weird because we get the scene gets referenced later on that Rahito's mother is just so happy that he found friends, and his friends are 2 robots and a 36-year-old man.
It's better than he's literally ever had before. I am so grateful. I am now going to give you a blank check because I am stupidly wealthy, and you can use it to upgrade your Mina.
Yeah, we'll get there in a bit, but this does really illustrate the one problem where this manga seems to want Takuma to be whatever age he needs to be. Because he's old enough to have a successful job, but is also living like a new college dropout in a shitty apartment. Like it's not clear what his life is.
So it's implied that he just is a bum. Like he might be financially stable, have a job that, is successful, but it's like as far as like how he is personally.
That is how I took it for most of the reading until a particular scene we're going to get to later.
Yep.
Which I'm pretty sure is the problem the rest of the cast has with it.
Yeah. So we get a fun scene where we find out that the Minas have stayed in touch because at the beach, we found out that if they don't talk out loud, they can actually talk at 400 times the speed of humans.
Yes,
I did the math on it. They were talking for a day and a third.
Presumably,
Mina to Mina communication, Mina to Mina conversation.
All about the romantic life, apparently, because they share some juicy girl secrets.
This is yet another case of it's like, are we going to have any kind of potential like jealousy or any kind of conflict between the Minas or any of the characters with either of the No, we're not.
I hate how they sidestep the jealousy later on too, where Mina's just like, he's like, oh, so you've been like pen pals with her because you can just communicate wirelessly. Yes, I have been doing that for a long time. Do you ever feel like it's kind of weird that she's a super Mina and you're just a regular Mina? Yes, while super Minas are very good and like have many sensors, that sometimes make them a bit scatterbrained because they can't actually process all of that information at once. It takes them many years to learn how to process that information. Meanwhile, being able to focus on just one thing makes us a much superior model. And I'm like, man, this company really just sold a luxury product that's just objectively worse. Good on them.
So that's why it's such a cool and good feature that we can link brains across the internet to share processing power, effectively making all of the Mina series a hive mind.
But don't worry, we're still individuals.
A dispersed cloud supercomputer.
I want everyone to be aware the explanation here is the equivalent level of computer knowledge as someone who wrote The Matrix and was just like, so they're using human beings as batteries, right?
This is writing The Matrix, but you're ignoring the metaphors. We're treating The Matrix as rock hard sci-fi instead of a metaphor.
Or alternatively, you're the producers of The Matrix because they're the ones who wanted that changed.
Yeah.
Look, the movie exists as it does now. We have to talk about it as a finished piece of art.
Well, yes.
True enough.
Look, if we're talking about what could have been, I've got some notes on Kagurabachi if we want to just completely.
Let's not derail too hard, please.
Aw.
Oh, we also ended the beach scene with Takuma being weirdly insistent on taking the group photo with an actual camera. It's like, hey, I don't have an SD card. Does anyone have an SD card? I think I've got one in my purse. Awesome. Let me go put that in here. This is full of pictures of me. Why do you have an SD card full of pictures of me, sis? it's so weird for me to like my big brother. I forgot that I put Mina's backup in my purse.
Such a weird payoff to that too.
It's like the mangaka remembered exactly now in the midst of writing that he did that and just needed like a few more pages to round out the chapter. So he's like, yeah, I can fire that Chekhov's gun, sure. I'm gonna spend the last few pages with Takuma and Mina being weirdly intimate, staring into each other's eyes because she put on makeup for the beach trip.
They come home late.
Mm-hmm. You look beautiful in the moonlight like this. I'm just going to stare at you until I fall asleep.
Do you want me to wear makeup all the time? No, not all the time. Why? Don't I look objectively better? Do you want me to look good or not? You're asking weird questions for someone who doesn't have the capability of processing jealousy. That is correct. I don't know this jealousy, and that a microwave doesn't know anything about it either.
Look, I'm trying to explain the nuances of how I like you no matter what you look like, but also I'm going to have a weird hang up about the fact that actually we're about to get to it. I'm not gonna jump the gun. We have another weird world building thing where she starts pinching all of his soft pudgy bits in order to get more health data. And then we have an interview with the world's oldest man. He's 240.
Yes, we live in the future now where we are now not just having the centennials. We are having, I don't even know what it would be.
Bicentennial?
Bicentennials?
And his wife, who is literally an order of magnitude younger than him.
Yes, because that's why he's living so long.
He has this young hottie giving him forehead kisses every morning.
You get the young female hottie, and then you get the older, well-established male hottie on the side because he's a bicentennial. I love this. It's so good. I get one sweet forehead kiss every day, and now I've lived to 240 years old.
And my wife, who, again, I must say, is an order of magnitude younger than me. She's 24. That's so fucking weird.
Why?
This dude is a Methuselah straight out of Altered Carbon, and his wife is just normal, except she is the most intense, I don't know, gold digger?
Yeah, I'm about to say, if you're a 24-year-old woman and you're getting with a 240-year-old man, you know what you're doing. If he can afford the anaganthic drugs this long, he's gonna have a hell of a will. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering why she's trying to prolong his life so much.
Yeah, she's just really into super old guys, I guess.
Yeah. But
we don't kink shame on the Over Manga Cast, but boy, do we have some questions for this manga.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the payoff for this opening bit is a bunch of kissing jokes, which are just basically the same thing as the hugging jokes, in that she's just ramming her face into him because she doesn't have any pressure, or she only has pressure sensors in her face, which seems like she should know that's too hard, but whatever. So she's just got a steel plate that she's just ramming into him. And he goes like, I love your kisses, but maybe I should show you how it's done. And she's like, oh, so you're going to show me how it's done? Yes, I'm going to kiss my wife.
I'm going to show you how it's done so you stop giving me head trauma from the blunt force impacts.
Dude.
And he basically just teaches her to kiss. It's literally the hug chapter again. So it does have the fun bit about like seeing him headbutted, but otherwise same.
The other cute bit is him kissing her hand gets a pretty cute reaction out of her.
Yes, because she's like, I have no sensors in my face. Oh, you have sensors in your hand though. Let me try that. She's like, that's enough.
I thought for a second that it was going to be, I have no touch sensory inputs in my face except for my eyes. So you kissing me on the lips does nothing. I really thought he was gonna kiss her eyes or something. But no, he does.
It goes for cute over the weird,
Yeah.
which
Unfortunately,
is much my preference.
All my touch sensors are on the inside of my heating unit. Feel up in my guts.
Ugh.
Anyways,
I left
honestly-
an egg warming in there.
Honestly, there's a part of me that wishes the manga committed that hard. It doesn't.
It's so weird that I know this is weird that I'm complaining about this, but I kind of wish this had just bit the bullet and been slightly more horny, because I don't know what it's doing in this weird mid-ground.
Yeah, same, honestly.
I would have been fine at falling either way, because in all honesty, when it's cute, it's really cute. And I really enjoyed it when it was being cute. But, like, it's just horny enough to be weird and kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. If it
goes all the way with the horny, then you know you're supposed to laugh at it. Because it's horny in an absurd way.
Like, you're either going to be like, wow, isn't this a quirky relationship? Or I'm going to do iRobot except erotic.
I hate that. Why did you say that?
And yeah,
The fact that you're not wrong is the worst part.
We have one of my favorite bits, which is Super Mina comes over, and Takuma's like, wait, how did you get our address? I led her here. Wait, you gave her our address? No, I'm not actually allowed to do that because of privacy concerns. So instead, we used our super-powered, hyper-connected wireless communication for me to beam directions to her as she asked the locations of landmarks, such as, is there a primary school within 300 meters of the house? Yes, there is.
So you told her our address. You just did it in a roundabout way.
Yes, but in a way that did not break TOS. Really feel like we should find a way for you to wear that ring on your finger, but okay.
Nope. I guess we're picking and choosing which like inbuilt programming you can skirt.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing. If what I had asserted before, the idea that our particular Mina is unusual because she's developing emotions and circumventing her programming in a way that is unique, then that would have made sense. That would have been like an important moment, but it's not doing that. So it's just weird. It's just bizarre world building that raises so many questions.
Oh, you have bizarre world building that raises so many questions. Well, don't worry, because guess what Super Mina brought over?
It's an upgrade catalog for the Mina series.
It's a wedding present, too, is the best part.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, it comes with 100 points of free upgrades. And he immediately opens the page, and it's a very sultry-looking Super Mina. And this is where I'm just like, okay, so can we just be clear here? The company knows people are going to try and fuck these robots, right?
Yes.
Like the magazine is selling this, but every single human character and robot character, as if that's such an insane thing, no one would think about it, but also it is a thing they think about constantly.
Well, yes, this particular upgrade does in fact come with realistic
squishy, skin. Yeah.
Realistic skin.
Soft,
and
supple skin, silicone based.
So
I also like how the very bottom has highly realistic, fully functional, and then the bottom part is cut off, and I'm like, oh, 7Cs, are you playing a joke there?
She's fully functional and anatomically correct.
Ooh. So what the problem here is that because our Mina is like the basic cooking model that isn't supposed to have a distinctive personality, the idea is supposed to be that it's weird that he's getting attached to this version of Mina, the like basic cooking model that isn't supposed to have a personality, but like they're not leaning into that. Like,
because they're also weirded out when people are attached to Super Mina.
Yeah, like clearly what it's supposed to be is that it's weird, and like they mention specifically, it's like no one would ever get attached to the basic model Mina, but people still have weird reactions to people getting attached to Super Mina too. Like there's a disconnect there, especially because the catalog itself certainly knows that that's something that they can sell these Minas on. Then at least some of the characters should acknowledge that, and no one does.
I don't know. The entire point of this like catalog too is for her to go, "You're not looking at other girls. You do not need a Mina. I am fully functional." And then it's like, "Oh, no. You can also just look at upgrades." And she's like, "The other half of the book is upgrades." And this is when Takuma's just like, I'm doing the math here. If that's like a fully modeled Mina is 100 points, that means like a single point must be worth, oh my god, this is too much money for a gift. Hey, I'm not taking charity. And he's like, he really puts his foot down that the present is too expensive beyond being told repeatedly to just accept the gift. So it's not it's not like the false modesty that you would do for like an expensive, or the real modesty you do for how expensive this present is. Like he is genuinely uncomfortable about taking it.
Yeah, and it's also weird because this comes back to what I said before about how he kind of vacillates on treating Mina like an actual human versus an appliance with no free will, because she's like, no, there are upgrades in here that I want to get to be better for you, to be a better wife, to be a better robot. I want to do this. And he's like, no, I refuse.
Yeah, that's the part that bothers me.
I want you to be the rice cooker in a dress. That's what turns me on.
We do not kink shame.
I can sort of get him being genuinely infatuated with her physical appearance as it is now. It's like the unchanging facial expression, the modulated voice. It's like that's
my Mina.
That's my Mina. That's the part I'm about. I don't know.
That it's like that much works, but the part, and like the worst part is the manga actually acknowledges this next bit. It's to the point where he's like, she wants this, so I should like accept her feelings and acknowledge her feelings and do this for her because it's what she wants. And if I'm going to be a loving and caring husband, if this is going to be a real relationship, I should acknowledge those feelings. It's too much money. I can't accept it. And like, that's what irks me about this.
He's finding excuses to get what he wants over what she wants.
And the moral of this story is that they should come together and like talk about this and like make a decision as a couple. And it's resolved by her going like, I understand how marriage works, and rips the book in half. You get this worthless half with those dumb sluts, and I get the half with all the upgrades and the order form. That's not how that works. Are you saying I'm not a real wife, so I'm not entitled to half of everything you own?
Basically guilts him into it.
And I'm like,
it seems like you've turned my selfish finding of excuses against me, and this seems like an unhealthy basis of our relationship where we just turn each other's toxic traits against each other. Maybe I'm getting too deep into the weeds here. Sure, whatever, just do it. I've already done it. You couldn't have stopped me.
We've already submitted the order form.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so there was no conversation. She just got what she wanted. And then we find out. I love how we find out later on. Whenever an order is made, the company sends out in-person representatives to confirm that the owner actually wants those things. And I'm like, how big of a problem is this?
Yeah, because that either implies, kids got a hold of mom's credit card and wanted to get an upgrade to their personal maid, or, oh no, the droid hasn't gotten wiped in a while and is developing a bit too much sentience and is trying to go Skynet again. Maybe we should make sure that the actual flesh being signed off on it.
And the latter is heavily implied to be the thing, which is the reason why the entire, like, core of the rom-com doesn't work.
So I can already tell Jacob's started, and I know I'm going to get started the second we dive into this.
Me too.
The next arc is basically where this manga fell apart completely for me. But I want to know, does anyone want to talk about anything else that happens before this goes off the rails?
The one thing
No.
the one thing I want to mention is that Mina was very, very insistent that he not find out what the deluxe or what the upgrade she
upgrade
requested was.
Yeah, secret. Top secret.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. To a large extent, like again, I get where the manga is going. Like I get the bones of this make sense to me. Like the idea of like he appreciates her as she is because that's the version of her that he fell in love with, and like there's a part of him that wants her to be more human-like, but then that's not his meat, blah blah blah. But like it's not executed correctly, and it proceeds to get worse.
I mean, he's worried about her changing, which is a
Change is
fair
hard.
worry to have. He's scared that she's not going to come back the same person, and he's worried that she doesn't want to be the same person, which is a reasonable thing to be afraid about. Like, oh, my wife wants to grow and become a different person who might not love me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which is his very real fear, which is why I think her response of just going, we're married, so I get half of everything, you don't get to stop me, is a very toxic response to his concerns. But again, she is a robot made by a company that has an entire like support structure built around the idea that they are very aware that they are building sentient people that they sell into domestic servitude.
That people will anthropomorphize and pair bond with.
You gotta address that population crisis somewhere and rampant loneliness. God, this guy is so lonely.
That's not going to do anything about the population. I say that.
Look, we don't actually know what the extent of the technology in this sci-fi world is.
Think about that.
For all we know, they are anatomically correct at the high-end models.
Oh,
100%. If they have a market.
there is probably some kind of, knowing Japan, there is a upgrade that is labeled as something else, but everyone uses it for a different purpose. We get introduced to the characters Lita and Senju-chan, who is another Mina, technically, I believe. Or
She's another robot. She's not part of the Mina line.
But she's a very similar design from the same company. Different hive mind, which again, the whole thing of them being both hive mind and yet also still
And
separate somehow. It's really frustrating that they have the whole like they're a hive mind but not seen alongside our Mina calling Super Mina her friend, and she cries and it's really cute, and it's like everything I love about this manga at the same time is it
As everything I hate about
making
this manga.
stupid decision.
well, they're not a hive mind is kind of the deal. They weirdly use each other's heads as processing ports, as if that kind of means they've got some kind of level of a soul that is I don't know.
I don't know either.
Writing decisions were made. I'm not a fan of them.
Writing decisions were made. We have an entire thing where Lita and
Senju-chan
are, because this is like Lita's first official like house visit as part of the job.
Yeah,
and so she's super nervous, and she got the weirdest freaking assignment of all time for her first job.
Yeah, and can we talk about how this is the most Japanese thing possible? That there is both a postcard you can mail in from the catalog, and also you can just order online, but both of those just prompt an in-person salesperson to come to your door.
Yeah.
Because does this take place in the future? Nope.
Nebulously.
If anything, it takes place in the past.
But,
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Takes place in Gintama.
Oh my god, it does. This is just Gintama.
This is the future of Gintama. They got rid of all of the aliens, I guess, but otherwise.
But
No, they didn't get rid of all the aliens. That explains the interspecies fetishist.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
No.
New headcanon.
Oh, but yeah,
It's
Lita.
becoming part of the multiverse along with Thorfinn the Orphan.
Lita is like a flustered saleswoman who really should not have this job, but is seemingly just being brought along by her like robot counterpart who is directly connected to the supercomputer that runs the company or the original supercomputer AI. It's not super clear.
I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
They do this weird thing where she's like, I am a part of the supercomputer that's been here since the company was founded, but also this individual model is about 3 months old. Despite that, please stop treating me as your junior. I am older and stronger and more knowledgeable than you, you worthless meat bag. I am more powerful than... Okay, you're entering sleep mode now.
She could also be doing this entire job by herself. I don't know why Lita's here. Like...
Focus groups said that the human connection helped. So here's the thing. This is where these two go on like a whole diatribe about how
an entire chapter lore dumping on us.
They spend of the whole start of chapter 12 and then like the back half of chapter 13 doing this, where they're talking about how, oh yes, we're going to go in and we're going to treat this like an upgrade. We're going to just tell him that it's possible that she might have to have her mind wiped, and it's a little inconvenient that you need to reteach her everything. And oh, but if the Mina robot is treated as a true member of the family, then we must make it clear that we also treat her as a human and will not wipe her mind. That could be seen as murder.
Like, the company acknowledges this. Acknowledges the potential of people seeing them as full people. And also the company seems to acknowledge that they are in fact kind of full people, but not.
And it has this weird Pinocchio effect where it's like, you're only a real boy if an actual real boy says you are.
Yeah, essentially.
Because like the way I took it is you got to understand from their point of view, they are creating these things. So if this was competently written, they should be the experts on what their capabilities are. And clearly, from their point of view, the company's point of view, they're creating these machines that are incredibly lifelike to humans. They are very convincing, but there is something about them that is intrinsically unhuman, and they will never be human. So the idea that they could form these bonds is not possible. But because not everyone is well versed on like robotics and AI construction, you have to deal with talking to the common people, and common people are going to anthropomorphize their toaster. Like, these people grow attached to things, and people who grow attached to things that look like human beings, which we've done because it makes people more comfortable, they grow more attached, and that's good. We want people to like our products. But while a wipe is probably what we could easily do, we're not going to, because that makes it seem like we're killing them. That's not what's happening. They can't die. They don't have souls. But they think they do. And those people, they specifically say, those people might do something drastic if they think we're going to kill their loved ones. So for the safety of our employees, we dissuade that method of thinking. Like, the company is doing this
by indulging in their fantasies.
Yeah, they're doing this purely to lessen the risk of like assault on their employees.
To purely lessen the risk of that one moment in Sakamoto days where a bunch of otaku hijacked a bus because their manga got canceled.
I understand entirely.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I don't say I condone it, but I understand.
I just love that. This is clearly this is a robot who is connected to their main AI, who is saying AI are not people. So it's not even like it's coming from a human who doesn't understand how they work. The AI is just like, that's not how we work. That is a misunderstanding that is coming from human perception. It'll be fine. And I'm like, I kind of trust this AI supercomputer on their opinion here. But obviously, because this is a rom-com, everyone has to be completely wrong.
I trust this AI supercomputer on its opinion, which is why it's so freaking weird when after Senju-chan goes on her entire little screed about how actually we were indulging him by saying that we're going to treat his Mina like a human, but she's just a cooking model. There's no way he genuinely believes this. They're the least human of them all. We're just going to do whatever we're going to do anyway. And it's like, well, is it really true that he couldn't possibly connect to his cooking model? After all, I like you as a person, Senju-chan. And then she
blue screens.
She shuts down from overload. And we learned that shut down from overload is a thing that even happens to the Mina-chans. So this super duper mega T-1000 can have a serotonin break or whatever and blue screen over being told I like you by a coworker.
So the thing is, the way that this story generally works, like the like basic bones of it, is that the company is an antagonist who thinks that Mina can't have possibly developed it, but something about Mina is special. Some element of her is special that actually allowed her to develop true sentience, and she's like unique in that. And that is a source of conflict because it's about proving that Mina is this Mina is in fact a real person. That's the basic elements of how this story normally plays out. But it's dodging the conflict by having the company be like, they're human enough that we indulge people so that they're not an antagonist. Because they're actually not going to wipe Mina. They go back and forth on whether or not they're actually gonna just wipe her anyway.
It felt like Senju was just going to wipe her, and that's why she got put into sleep mode. It's like, I understand you think she's part of your family. We really are considerate about that. Are you actually in love with her? Oh my, she's your wife? That really, hold on, that actually prompts a lot of questions. She's 4, right? No, we're not going to go into that. Okay.
I am an entire. Yeah, there's your My Life as a Teenage Robot reference. We're time to put Jenny in preschool again.
Yep.
Also, Senju-chan, you're doing an awful lot of talking about how the robots don't feel, have no souls, and are incapable of true sentience, and then getting really hung up on being called Chan by your so-called Kohai.
And also the fact that she gets violently angry when that Kohai is yelled at. Like, yes, aggressively, but not even, like, physically threatened, but just yelled at.
Because Senju goes to do a scan on Mina, which involves popping open her head case and looking at the chips. And Mina, blushing bride that she is, I guess, covers up the exposed headpiece like, oh no, I can't let my husband see this. And realistically, I believe, at least given the everything we've been told so far, Takuma's like, what the hell are you doing to my wife? Stop right now. At which point Senju restrains him for yelling.
Yeah, and
it's like, that's an emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
They do say that it's basically like default parameters to keep their traveling employees safe to like halt. Apparently she's newly formed in that body, so she neglected what she should have done, which was issue a verbal warning before immediately going to detainment.
And well, the thing for me is the way it is framed depicts it as it was a flare of temper. An emotion.
Well, they don't say that the advanced supercomputer doesn't have emotions, but I don't know what that means at that point. Like,
their definition of emotion at this point.
Wish I knew, because the whole metaphor is so hideously mangled at this point. And honestly, my source of blame on this problem falls squarely on the series doesn't want to have an antagonist. The series doesn't want to have actual conflict. So it keeps waffling back and forth on a bunch of really important aspects that make the world building really weird.
It's also at this point where I'm just like, okay, this is definitely everything I hate about AI fiction, where they're just like, clearly the people who make robots and AI are incredibly stupid and don't know what they're building until it already just happens into existence.
We've never, tested this under extreme conditions and different use cases and red teamed the thing to hell before releasing it to the public.
And it's just like the idea that you would have teams of people working on this to build a robot that can do household tasks and then decide, hey, should we also dedicate countless man hours to making sure they understand the beauty of a sunset and can contemplate the ability to not feel freedom? No, that sounds incredibly cruel to give a washing machine the ability to want more for its life. Why would you do that? Oh, because everyone in this company is evil, is the only explanation for how this world works, except because this manga doesn't want to have any conflict. Everyone involved is so milquetoast and nice.
Uh-huh.
Like, you think there's going to be conflict with the saleswoman, but the second they turn off Senju and then they are like, hey, you really love her, we're going to make sure everything's okay. Also, because we're such a nice company, we're actually going to sign you up for the people who love to make their robots program, where we back up her personality constantly to the cloud so that you never lose any. Did that get you, Sam?
The robo warranty. I've forgotten about that. I was so caught up in everything else. I forgot about the robo warranty.
No, but it's not a warranty. It's just a thing they give for free to their customers because they're so nice. They give out cloud storage for free.
And Lita even points this out to Senju. She's like, wow, isn't this deal a bit too good to be true? Yes, it is, but it gets loyal customers and not blood psychopaths that attack our headquarters. You say this like it's a precedented thing. We don't talk about that. It is censored. Anyway, he's probably just faking it to get the special robot cooker warranty, because who could truly love a rice cooker?
I don't understand why this is only given to people who like their robots, but that's apparently so you gotta prove.
So you're saying I should ignore the explicit evidence of my eyes and what the customer told me and just assume that he's trying to scam the company? Yes.
Well, that is more realistic in the context of how a company would behave and treat its customers than the alternative.
It is, but why do we care about that now? They already have the robo warranty.
Like they're giving away free cloud storage if you say, no, I have sex with my robot.
Here's the other problem. They're basically guaranteeing that nothing bad can actually happen to this particular Mina. We're not even going to get the opportunity to have because it's like I know we had the little payoff of Scatterbrain's sister almost lost the backup of Mina, but we don't even get to have a situation where it's Mina's original body gets destroyed and it's we get a new Mina, but it's not mine Mina, and then we get the memories back from the stored memory card.
Well, that's the entire
because we can't have that, because that would be conflict.
That's the entire point of chapter 13, is when she because this operation is going to take 2 weeks at she's got to go back to the company. He eventually signs off on everything. There's a whole thing about how Lita's very confused about the fact, hey, why does the owner not know what the order is? And the robot just goes, maybe the order and the person who made the order and the owner of the robot are different people. What could that possibly mean? Don't think about it too much. And I'm just like, okay, Senju, what side are you on? Because you seem to have polar opposite opinions multiple times in this conversation. Are you on board with the robots having rights?
Or are you just willing to toe the company line as much as possible? Which is weird because the company line seems to be very slack indeed.
Yeah. And there's a whole thing where she gives him a phone number to call her in case you want to know what the order is, because I think Lita somehow suspects maybe he doesn't feel comfortable saying he wants to know it in front of Mina, which could be drama, but they don't do anything with it.
They don't do anything with it.
The entire point of 13 is she's gone for 2 weeks, and the first part is she's left him all these meals, and then he just goes up and gorges himself on junk food because he's like, hey, I don't have the wife home. I'm going to be a slob and not be super healthy all the time. I'm going to just it's my cheat day. It's fine.
which is the manga going back to being cute
Yeah,
the thing that it's good at.
But then he's like alone and he's kind of like drinking and he's just like, oh no. And he kind of gets the existential dread. What if the thing that comes back is no longer my wife? My God, she's gone for so long. What am I going to do with that? And then a
We
little
can't
robot.
have conflict.
Nope, because a little robot shows up early and he's like, what is this? Oh, it's something that connects to the internet that can download Mina's personality so she can be here while she's not here.
Does it download her personality, or is she actively remote controlling it?
She-
Because I was a little unsure about
It
that.
seems to be
Oh,
the latter, but
well,
it doesn't really matter.
Based on how they've said the robots work, those are the same thing.
That's
Fair
true.
enough. Yeah.
It's using the hardware remotely.
And it's like, okay, a whole bunch of the stuff with the little robot is really cute because it's like, oh no, she's gonna realize he had a cheat day and she's gonna be mad at him. Which, I mean, like, that happens. It's funny and cute, but also we can't have conflict.
We can't.
That
have
would ruin the
conflict,
vibes. The vibes must be immaculate. Even if it harms the story at a fundamental level and makes you really question what the hell the point of any of this is.
So I'm going to admit I cheated a little. When I got to the end of chapter 14, I was just like, oh man, did we end on the only conflict that is going to happen? Because what happens with the little robot is Mina's just like, I miss you. I miss you as well. Well, Mina doesn't say she says that in robot terms, not saying she has emotions. And he's just like, hey, can I hold your hand? And he's like, that seems agreeable. And he holds the hand and falls asleep. And then in the middle of the night, he wakes up and the robot's looking. He's like, hey, did you want to hold my hand? Held his hand again. And then the next day, the robot's like coming around and hugs him as he's cooking. And he's just like, oh man, are you checking my temperature? And then,
What is
Mina,
temperature?
Mina, you're checking my temperature? And he goes, what is temperature? And he's just like, what? And Mina shows up at the door. I thought you weren't coming back till tomorrow. I did this as a surprise. What the hell is that robot doing? And like, it's just like, wait, hold on, Mina, are you not controlling that?
No, it's implied that she broke control at some point, and this thing's self-learning had already started to fall in love with him.
Yep, and I'm just like, oh my God, are they turning into a robot harem? So I cheated, and I checked the next chapter. No, it's immediately resolved the next chapter.
Course.
Yeah, I
was a little worried about that.
I had lost faith in this manga around the beach, so.
You know what?
Also, Mina, she comes home and she looks exactly the same. So
she's slightly taller.
She's slightly taller. The entire conflict of him being like, no, my porcelain doll queen.
Oh my God, he has like the nightmare where he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get all the silicone upgrades from my Mina. She's gonna be so soft all over. And then he wakes up going like, my God, what a terrible person I am.
I mean, her coming back looking the same is kind of inevitable. It's to be expected, but
we can't go changing the character model. Yeah, thus brings us to the end of our reading.
Well, there was a little extra at the end of volume 2, which, boy, this is just yet another. And honestly, thinking about this, I think I understand it, at least in part, why I tend to be optimistic when I read things, because I think my writer brain goes off and starts like thinking about what I would do if I was writing the story, because my initial reaction to the extra story, Akari's girlfriend, I'm like, oh, that is such an interesting relationship. It's never going to come up again, and just take it at face value. It's really toxic.
Yeah, because in case it's not obvious to everyone who read this, Akari's had a girlfriend this entire time. And we cut to them like snuggling on the couch watching something, and her girlfriend kind of just goes like, hey, are you only dating me because you like the taboo of being in a relationship that's not considered traditional? And instead of saying, no, I love you for you, she flusters and basically goes, yes, that is basically it. And then her girlfriend goes, that's fine. I'm going to make you love me for me by doing all the weird kinky that you want. Also, I want you to be super aroused when you see pigeons coo on each other. I'm into that shit. And I'm like, I'm
your lover, so it's good that I arouse you, right? It's like, okay, if you want to have this relationship just be sex, that's fine. That you're making that obvious. That's good. But why does this feel so weirdly manipulative and possessive?
Well, because
Because it is.
it's not. It's clearly Akira's just into it for like the thrill.
She's very transparent.
And the girlfriend is basically like, I know you're just into me for this. I'm going to make you love me. And is kind of like thrilled by the challenge. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to end great.
This ain't gonna end well.
That is a really interesting like plot hook for a romance manga, like a serious kind of somewhat dark romance manga. This is never going to do anything with. Honestly, I don't expect the girlfriend to ever show up again.
Yeah.
Because she's in love with bears, which is my other favorite 4-koma, where they answer the question, if Akira could be alone in the forest with a man or a bear, she would choose the bear.
Oh, she'd choose the bear, all right. Thus brings us to the end of our reading, mercifully. Favorite character? I think Mina is interesting. I think that she is the most thematically consistent character in the manga, and I think that is that shouldn't be such a high bar to clear, but she does.
That's such a strong start to a favorite character segment.
I know.
This bodes well.
It's not that I hated this. I didn't dislike this. It's just so thinly spread across like 4 different genres between like comedy and sci-fi and like existential horror and romance. And I'm just like, pick a lane, please. You've got like 3 mangas worth of story shoved in here, but you're somehow still watering it down too much. Anyway, Mina's the most thematically consistent character, therefore she is my favorite. Jake, how about you?
Honestly, same. I understand fully where they're going with Mina, and in all honesty, the only thing that doesn't really work about her character is that the rest of the world around her is so metacontextually averse to conflict that it won't let her be as interesting as she is.
She needs to be unique for the story to be interesting, but
yeah, but she's not.
This is just a standard feature of Mina's that.
But with that said, and again, perhaps this is the writer brain. Like I get what they're going for, and I like it. And quite frankly, the world around Mina does not execute this well. But Mina herself actually works. Like I like the ways in which that she expresses that she has emotions and personality. Like I think it's clever because there's a lot of subtle things. Like when she reacts to him kissing her hand. Is that her being bashful, or is that's a contaminant on the on a cooking surface? And it's like it's probably a combination of both in a way that's unique to Mina specifically, which is part of her charm. But again, the world does not service that character.
Indeed.
But I do like it for what it is.
Jay, how about you? Favorite character?
For Akari, she made this, less cringe for me, but somehow more cringe. I don't know. She was super cringe, but she also brought like a bit of life to what I thought was just really sad.
Milk toast.
A more palatable cringe.
When you're so cringe, it loops back around into not being cringe anymore.
She was that character for me, so I appreciate her.
Excellent. And you, Matt?
I mean, all of these characters kind of sucked. Was the thing. Like, no one has any like actual personality. No one has any thoughts or drives. Like 2 characters are in love, and presumably all characters are in love with someone. But aside from that drive, which is very much the same for everybody, there's no like different definitions of it. They're all basically the same character, who are all just really plain, who are just doing the least conflict story imaginable. And like, I kind of wanted it to be Takuma, because I wanted it to be like a story of how he was looking for affection from something that can't actually give it to him. And maybe we get the AI who's aware she can't feel emotions and doesn't feel love and is trying to like compartmentalize how do I like associate like what he wants from here, and I can't give it to him, and like the disconnect there would cause some like tragedy, because frankly this would make a really good tragedy, but it doesn't want to do that. Like they have that nightmare where he's just like, she came back and she's a giant fleshy woman, which is presumably what he wants, and he's just like, no, you're a completely different person, you're completely incompatible with this. She's like, no, you only want to be my husband because you can't get a human girl. And he's just like, well, that's right, but I still love you. And I'm like, what a terrible thing to say, because that isn't, that's him. That's him in his subconscious saying that. That's not.
Yeah.
But that's played for laughs or completely forgotten. Like, it's not. Like, this is really sad. This is someone who has given up on human relationships and has.
And so he's settled for anthropomorphizing his robots so much. And it can, take the road between being like a tragedy of him investing so much into a thing that can't truly feel, or it can go like a more optimistic route. I thought it was going to go a slightly more optimistic route of Mina can truly learn to feel, or she develops actual emotions, but she could the whole time. She's just bad at expressing them, which feels like a bad metaphor for neurodivergence, I guess.
Yeah,
I
did kind of feel like I really hope that they don't try to turn this into a neurodivergence metaphor, because boy, this series is not deft enough to go there. They were really on the nose with the relationship dynamic of literally putting Mina in a closet. So
I was about to say, I don't think that's what it's going to go for. I think that's just me reading.
Because I feel like just manga, anime, I'm sure people have heard of Komi Can't Communicate. That was similarly coded and did not go over well.
I
can only imagine the discourse.
Yeah.
Manga and anime has a really bad like track record of fetishizing that type of character and not really wanting to play with how like isolating that can be for some people. Which I mean, that's fine. Not everything has to be sad, but like when you lean so heavily into like this is an idealized like characteristic, like
it's a matter of
it becomes a caricature of something that is almost just like so.
Yeah, it's honestly an element that I think we've brought up a bunch of times of, if you're going to do this, actually do it. Because I mean, not for nothing, it's like, I'm an optimist and I'm a romantic, so it's like, them having to fight for like validating their relationship is a cool story. It's been done before, but it's cool and this has potential, but they don't do that.
They sign up for the robot feature warranty.
And then they sign up for the robot feature warranty that basically guarantees that the story will never have teeth, but it keeps bringing things up that imply that it should.
Unless the corporation decides to go full cyberpunk evil, which is implied, but then
immediately undercut.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about how like it's vaguely implied early on that like she was abused by her
previous owner?
And then that's just completely dropped.
Talk about neurodivergent coding or like mental trauma coding. The fact that all interactions with the previous owner need to be encrypted so deeply not even the robot can read it really feels like repressing traumatic memories.
But that would be conflict. So we have to couch it as it's a privacy setting and then never bring it up again. And it's like the fact that we can even think about it in that context means that this was not deftly handled.
Like you can make things metaphors, but then I don't know.
Then you got to commit to them or else it looks really bad.
Because this is a manga that takes place in not even feeling like modern day Japan. This honestly feels like early 2000s Japan.
Yeah, it's very early aughts.
The idealized version of youth Japan, kind of. But they have robots that do chores, but not everybody has robots, and most people have not actually seen a robot in the wild, but you can buy them at the secondhand store. So I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of writing choices were made.
My one screwball theory that I know is definitely not going to be the case, but I thought was fun. I think that Mina's previous master was a mad scientist who wanted her to love him. So she. You know what? I'm not going to assign a gender. Her previous owner could be whatever. They wanted her to love them. So they implanted her with a computer virus that slowly unlocked emotions in her, but then realized that this was like forcing them to love them, and they don't want that. So they wiped the memory, threw it to the secondhand store, didn't realize that didn't wipe the love virus. And that's why every Mina interacts with suddenly starts realizing they can love people. He's slowly infecting the system.
That
is so cool. I'm going to take it a step darker, where the previous owner didn't care. It unlocked Mina's ability to love, but she didn't love the previous owner, and it got bad. And then you can have the previous owner come up as an antagonist later. You know, like there's you have one arc that's a fight to get people to acknowledge the relationship between Takuma and Mina, and then you have another arc where it's the previous owner comes in trying to reclaim Mina and all that stuff. That's a cool story. I wish that's what this was.
Yeah. Well, if we could just wish for things to be better, you know.
Yeah.
If you just wish for things to be better, then Kagurabachi wouldn't be mid.
So yeah, I guess we've kind of beat around the bush, but would you continue reading? I'm a pretty solid no. I guess technically I did read the next chapter, but I found
it was
out
to confirm.
It was to confirm that it wasn't going to become a harem where the tiny egg was a love rival. I'm just going to spoil it because we're never going to revisit this, no matter what the rest of your reviews are. The love rival is the base personality of the egg, and they thought they had gotten rid of it when they allowed Mina to remote control it, but they accidentally left it in there. So when it then held Takuma's hand, it fell in love with him. But he contextualizes that as, Mina, don't you understand? This egg is like our baby. It was made from our love, and it loves us. So you need to train it like a baby. It's our baby, our happy family baby. And she goes like, baby? And that I quit at that point.
Well, I was already going to say no, I would not continue reading. You saying that has just solidified it for me, because this has somehow managed to not latch on. I said it's got like 4 different themes and stories in it. It's got 4 different points of interest that I would be down for. It's got weird cyberpunk shit. It's got romance. It's got existential horror. It's got horny. Each one of those individually could grab my attention. It somehow didn't do any with any of them. So yeah.
I mean, it's like a 4-topping pizza, but the 4 toppings are in separate quadrants, and you only get 1 pepperoni, 1 anchovy, 1 piece of sausage, and like 1 pepper.
Yeah,
exactly. Jay, how about you? Would you continue reading?
Absolutely not. This is very just sad degeneracy, and not. I don't mean that as like saucy comment. I mean
as
like,
opposed to funny, as opposed to fun degeneracy.
No, it's just sad.
I got really like intrigued when you started posting screen caps of the little sister being an absolute degen, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be trash. I'm gonna eat this up, and then just no.
Nope.
She doesn't even stay the same kind of trash, and she becomes both simultaneously less and more trash over time.
I don't believe this manga was written by the same person who drew that panel of her just like shuddering over an interspecies relationship between her brother and a robot. Like everything else is so milquetoast to the amount of detail put into that panel. Like
we didn't even bring up the fact that the sister has a different shading style, like she's All Might for a few panels.
Basically is. She's like basically the one that keeps on, in a way, propelling the plot forward. With her shenanigans that she like.
What plot that there is.
Yeah.
The most plot comes from I guess technically, yeah, the sister is tangentially related to that.
So about the same for you, Jake?
Well, the thing is, for me, what I mostly focused on, because by the beach episode, I had lost any ability to trust like this telling any kind of, like, I don't even want to say serious story, but like any kind of story at all. I'd sort of accepted that, and I just kind of latched onto the cute. And man, when it's cute, it's super cute. I was kind of enjoying the cozy of it, but I'm not gonna lie, talking about it kind of ruined that for me to a large extent. I was gonna say, yeah, I'd pop it open on occasion, just to see some cute fun stuff. And quite frankly, I might calm down, get over it, and actually do that anyway, because as much like we're reviewing it, so we're talking about like the details of it, but we're not laboriously going over every single panel. There were a lot of places where I was genuinely enjoying reading this, and I was like engaging it in the way that it wanted me to. But there are so many elements of it where it's like a writing choice was made that I just vehemently disagree with. I don't like where it's going, and I know that it is either going to go down that route harder or never acknowledge it again. And I don't like either of those options. So there's a part of me that wants to, but in all honesty, talking about it has only soured it for me. So I don't know.
Would you check out the anime?
I might check out the anime because the anime might clean some things up.
It'd probably fix the pacing.
It would definitely fix the pacing at the very least. And I don't know.
The pacing is very, very shonky.
If I had to wager a bet, I think the anime might lean heavier into the horny section because
that's at least something.
It's there. Like, I don't know.
Hey, maybe the anime will lead into the cute. Like, because if the anime leads into the cute and gets rid of a lot of the world building, quite frankly, if this got rid of the world building and it was just cute, fluffy nonsense, I'd be all for this. So if the anime does that, then I'm there. And quite frankly, if the anime leans into the horny instead, that would be cool too.
Oh man, if the anime doubles down on the terrible world building, I might check it out.
At that point, it becomes so bad it's good. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You know what? I would honestly like appreciate and kind of respect it if they had like an entire arc dedicated to the corporation trying to untangle the mess of policy they've made because they've had to do so much patchwork of
one of the characters just basically walks on screen and has the conversation we just had over this long interminable episode.
Why do we have the robot workers warranty? Because we had a bomb threat 10 years ago. That's why. Anyway.
Once again, our version of the story is way more interesting to me than what we actually read.
Anyway, thank you everybody once again for tuning into the OverMangaCast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias, where we are at OverMangaCast.
We're also on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Our episodes go up on a 2-week delay there, so if you want to catch all of our up-to-date stuff, you can go to overmangacast.com, which also has a comment section where you could tell us that we're wrong about this series, and it's actually really deep. I'd love to hear those arguments, or maybe recommend us something that's good. We kind of need a palate cleanser.
Speaking of recommendations, we appreciate recommendations and reviews in any and all forms. So wherever you can find it, send it out. We love hearing from you. You can reach us directly over mongcast@gmail.com and over mongcast.com. Nice little comment section. I think that was already mentioned. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, Sam, save me. What are we reading next week?
Well, next week we are going to be getting back to something that has been long overdue for a revisit. It's Sakamoto Days, chapters 19 through 36. So if you're keeping up with the show, be sure to read that, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
The OverMangaCast does not condone robots, nor do we validate any form of robot warranty. Get clean.
Remember, stay safe, keep your hands, don't fist gynoids.